It looks like it's about time. Good morning. Good to see you. All right, we're continuing our journey. Yoga Sutras. We are on Sutra 243 as we make our way through the yamas and the niyamas. So the niyama practice is tapas. Tapas. We say that actually when we teach classes here a lot. Tapas. So let's see what the Yoga Sutras say, specifically this translation of the Yoga Sutras. So Swami Satchidananda translates this as, by austerity, impurities of body and senses are destroyed and occult powers gained. By austerity, impurities of body and senses are destroyed and occult powers gained. Okay. So I did a little reading, as I always do. What do other people have to say about this? Actually, before I go there, I will read just this one story that he tells at the end, because it's illustrative of some of the concepts here. Once a man wanted to anger a saint. He began insulting him. "You dirty rogue, see how many people you have ruined with your teachings." The saint remained quiet, smiling at his tormentor. "Don't you understand my language?" the man asked. "Yes, sure." "You mean you've understood my insults?" "I did." "Then how can you keep quiet?" The saint answered, "Son, suppose you brought me some fruit and I refused it. What would you do?" "I would have to take it back." "Yes," continued the saint. Handling things this way takes real strength and courage. A person who can only strike back physically may be physically strong, but mentally weak. Mental strength comes by tapasya, accepting pain. Then pain is no longer pain, but is joy, because we have realized the benefit of it. So, for me, tapas is, I actually say this a lot when I'm teaching now. There's lots of translations. Swami Satchidananda talks about it as literally heat, the fire from within. And that can show up in hot yoga, clearly. The fire from outside and the intensity of the practice can create a fire within. I had a lot of that when I first started practicing yoga. Internal heat generated by really intense physical practice. And actually that suited me at the time. I had a pretty sedentary work life, and a lot of physical intensity was sort of the antidote to all the lack of intensity physically in my life. As I've moved through my practice, patience is a translation that I appreciate for the word tapas. Patience and discipline that might not always show up as physical heat. But it's still, for me, it's mental heat. Yesterday I wanted to leave Jen's class after the sun salutations were done. 15 minutes into our hour-long class, I was like, I'm not able to do this today. I'm not feeling it. And I didn't leave. I stayed. And the promise that we always make to folks is, if you stay, you'll be glad you did. And by the end of class, I felt different. I was very glad I stayed. I didn't do the most intense practice. I didn't do child's pose the whole time. I found a middle place that seemed like it was gonna make me good and even make the people around me good. I think one of the things about a practice in a community is there's an element of showing up for each other. I had a brand new student next to me, and I didn't want to discourage her or just be anything other than just a student next to her doing the thing. And I figured if I stayed in child's pose the whole time, that might be weird, or if I got up and left the room, that might be weird for a brand new person. So there's some power in being with others and helping to create a discipline. I do want to share in the chat, and I'll read it out loud, but I'm going to go ahead and share this in the chat if you guys want to read along. A different description of tapas that I found this morning. One that actually really struck a chord with me. So if you're on YouTube and you can't see the chat, here's what it says. It's from Pandit Rajmani. He writes, tapas is withstanding the pain caused by the pressure of the senses and our self-imposed resistance to that pressure. Withstanding the pain caused by pressure of the senses and our self-imposed resistance to that pressure. Until we reach the highest, there is a constant tug of war between the good and pleasant, between our discrimination and our desires, between the forces of surrender and the forces of attachment. Cultivating the capacity to withstand this pain and adhering to our resolution is tapas. So, it's one thing to withstand physical pain. We do that when we stay in pigeon pose or warrior two, even when it's uncomfortable. But I think that, the evolution of that practice from our mat is to be able to stay in a difficult situation and not flee, to adhere to our resolution. So, we each face this. There's addiction, there's attachment, there's difficult relationships, there's all the things that are hard to withstand. And our practices are designed to help us kind of face that resistance on purpose, whether it's through a physical pose or sitting still, and just practice being with it. So not running out of the room or getting up and distracting ourselves. Or even moving when we're meditating if we're encountering some resistance to what's happening in our body. So those of you that are here with me live have all been doing this for a while. This is not your first rodeo. If you're watching on YouTube and you're new to this, give yourself a little bit of grace. But I'm going to invite us to sit with strong determination today. And so we've got 16 more minutes by my watch. I'm going to invite us into a practice of just sitting without much guidance, just being with what is. And the ask is stay. And other than, minor movements like readjusting your uprightness if you need to, cultivate a strong determination not to move too much today. Right? Even if your leg starts to fall asleep or start to itch, just resisting those urges and cultivating tapas. All right. We have 15 minutes. So go ahead and create your posture. Close or lower your eyes. And choose an anchor for your thoughts. It might be your breath or the sensations in your body. Perhaps allowing your sense of hearing to open up to just anchor into the sounds around. And I invite you to join me in stillness until we finish our practice. some bigger, deeper breaths. At least 2. And then you're invited to open your eyes. Move. Scratch the itch. Insights? Questions? Comments? Paula?
Unfortunately, the itch wasn't with my body. The itch was with my mind, trying to just be.
Well said. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've been doing these practices now for I don't know how long. At least a decade. And I get tested on a regular basis, and I think he says in here in this one, it's like when we finally realize samadhi, like we won't react to the things that bother us. I had a lot of reactions in the last week to a lot of things. I was like, oh well,
Yeah.
back to the cushion. You know, a lot of. I mean, it's yeah. At least now I see my reactions and I can smile, not from a smug place, but just from a like compassionate understanding of my humanness. Right? Like we're all working on it. And I've said this before, I don't aspire to be enlightened. I aspire to just make it through my days with a little more ease. So that pause between the stimulus and the reaction, it's not always long enough for me to not react, but I'm doing the best I can. Better than I used to. Marcia, do you have something to share?
It's just living life.
Yeah.
Living life. And, I think about your granddad. May he rest in peace. There you go again.
There you go again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Cultivating patience with all the things that want to try your patience.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Thank you.